What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Let's Talk Boxing, episode 14. Uh, Today we're gonna talk about Tank Davis. Tank Davis recently put out some tweets on Twitter saying, "Hey, this is his last fight on this Mayweather deal. He's gonna be a free agent after this." Uh, that is very, very big news in the sport of boxing. Some people thinking he may just be trolling, may just trying to be getting his mentions up, maybe trying to boost up his algorithm. But he did delete a lot of those tweets of him talking about, this fight being his last fight and all that. So I don't know what to make of it. But hey, listen, you come on Twitter and you are as big of a star as Javante Davis is, then you're bound to fucking create some kind of controversy. L Dub Boxing, what's up, my brother? Derek, my man Derek. It's so tomorrow when Adorno loses, I just want to know that you still my guy, man. All right, man, you still my guy. I have not listened to the PBC podcast. What happened on the PBC podcast? Let me know. But yeah, Javante. By the way, this is so much better. Last time I streamed straight from YouTube, that shit was a horrible mess. As you guys remember, I don't know who was on, but that was a mess. Thank God. Uh, Thank God this situation is good. All right, Javante Davis, my contract is up. That's why Mayweather Promotions wants me to fight Clown Romero. That's on Boxing Scene. He tweeted about it and he had recently deleted it, so I don't know what to make about it. Oh shit, they shouted me out? Yo, hold on. Shout out to KB, my man Kenneth Buhare from the PBC podcast. Yo, what they say exactly? What were they talking about? A specific interview that I did, or anything like that? Let me know. Shout out to you. It was it the last PBC podcast? Yo, I'm making headway on the PBC podcast. Yo, shout out to Kenneth Buhare, man. Yo, KB, that's my guy, man. I gotta contact him. I gotta let him know that I appreciate that shout out. That's definitely a good look for me. About Dominican boxing. Yo, shout out, yo. I'm making fucking news, baby. Yo, shout out to my man KB, man. That means if he mentioned it on the podcast, that means he listening. That means he listening. He aware of my ideas and my plans. Shout out to KB, man. He's a solid dude, man. That's all I can say. He's a solid cat. I've spoken. We've interacted a few times, and solid cat. We've gone. We've argued a bunch back and forth, but in a healthy way, in a healthy boxing. What argues is probably the bad word. We debated a bunch of boxing topics. And it's always been respectful. We've always kept it boxing. Shout out to KB. I got a shout out on the PBC podcast. Wow. Okay. I'm definitely gonna check it out. Was it the last podcast, Derek, that they put out? Yo, yeah. I need to put this up again. They shouted you out about Ken did about Dominican boxing. Man, that's see, I came on here talking Javante Davis and wow, I don't know what to say. Shout out to KB. I definitely have to contact him after this live. Let him know that I appreciate the shout out and that I'm aware of it, and I'm definitely gonna listen to the podcast fully when I get home. But yeah, getting back to Tank Davis. So Tank Davis is a legend that his last fight, this fight up and coming up against Rolly Romero, is his last fight with Mayweather Promotions. That's Found that very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Uh, because if that is true, right? Where does he go from here? Where does he go from here? He could either, or my man Ezra from the Ezra podcast, he actually made like a nice little meme of possible 2-fight deals Javante Davis can sign that would interest the fans, or as well as educate us fans what his options really are. So if he was to sign a 2-fight deal with the Zone, look, hold on. I'm a screen share. Shout out to Ezra from the Ezra podcast, by the way. Hit that subscribe button on his channel. But he put this post up on Twitter. Look, on Instagram, excuse me. It says, Tank the free agent. So potential 2-fight deals. If he were to sign a 2-fight deal with Top Rank, Lomachenko's an option, Shakur Stevenson's an option, and Teofimo's an option. That's if he was to sign a 2-fight deal with Top Rank. 2-fight deal with Matchroom or / Golden Boy could be Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. That would be the zone, basically. So Top Rank will be ESPN. Matchroom / Golden Boy would be the zone. So that would be Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. And if he was to stay with PBC, he could fight Michelle Rivera or have a rematch with Isaac Cruz. So the potential legacy building fights are definitely on other platforms. That's just obvious from where Ezra laid it out right there. But Mayweather Promotions brought you up. Mayweather's Promotions was the one who really got you to this point. I don't see Tank Davis leaving that, to be honest. It's not like I've never heard Tank Davis complain about money. I've seen him on Instagram buying a truck. I every time I see him, he got all this jewelry on. Know what I'm saying? He Mayweather Promotions talk about how he's doing numbers and selling tickets and buying pay-per-view and people buying pay-per-views. So if he's as successful as you guys say he is, there's no reason why he should be complaining about money. Not saying that he is, but I'm just saying I don't see why he would leave Mayweather Promotions. It doesn't make sense to me. That's what it is. It just doesn't make sense. Now if you want to say he's leaving because he has a personal rift with Floyd Mayweather, but sure, but I don't see what the rift would be. The only thing is, look, he also tweeted this. Tank did. He tweeted this as well. He tweeted on Javante Davis. He goes, they put my tickets on sale 1 month before, like I'm fucking Michael Jackson or something. So obviously he's upset with the availability of the tickets that they're putting on because maybe his last fight wasn't a complete sellout. Maybe, maybe there were a few thousand tickets left. I have no idea. But if he's complaining about it, maybe he wants you guys to do something about it. Maybe he doesn't feel that you guys have been going about the right way with it. I don't know. We got to see what this means. Honestly, again, I think maybe this was a strategic little back and forth that he was doing, maybe trying to trying to just get his mentions up, or it could be he's just mad. But you know how you get mad at your big brother, but nobody else can say something about your big brother. You be like, fuck that dude, man. That dude fucking ate my cereal. Man, he knew I was saving that, this, that, and the third. When I see him, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then your friend goes, yeah, fuck that dude. You go, whoa. What you just said about my brother? No, I thought we were saying fuck him. He goes, yeah, I was saying fuck him. You can't. So I don't know if it's one of those situations. He's just mad at his big brother. Him and his big brother having a little argument. Just don't get involved in that. I don't know. We'll have to see how this shit plays out. But honestly, the thought of him leaving Mayweather Promotions, got me excited because you saw the two fight deal options. If he was to go to the zone, he fights Devin and Ryan. That's better than anything PBC has to offer. Or if he goes to Top Rank, he either has the combination of these three fighters: Lomachenko, Shakur Stevenson, and Teofimo Lopez. Bro, those are great fights. And then if he goes to PBC, they got Michelle Rivera, Isaac Cruz, maybe Gary Antoine Russell at 140. At 140, PBC has a lot to offer. At 140, they got Subriel Matias, they got Brandon Lee, Elvis Rodriguez, Richardson Hitchens. They got a lot of options at 140, but really Tank is a 135 pounder. He could go up to 140 because he's a talented, hard punching young man. But I can't see him campaigning at 140. I can't. Sorry. Always the friend getting extra hype saying fuck him. Yeah, man. Like sometimes when it's a personal relationship, and the way Mayweather talks about Tank, it looks like they have a really close relationship. So when you have a really close relationship with somebody, you're gonna have disagreements and stuff like that. People disagree with their wife of all people. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean that it's F they wife. No, it's just like, no, I'm having a disagreement with his wife. With his wife, and then eventually they're gonna work it out. Not comparing these two as that, but they having a disagreement as big brother, little brother. Eventually they'll work it out. They'll work it out. Yo, Broadway, have you heard anything from your sources about a Crawford versus Thurman fight in the summer? It's funny you mentioned that. Actually, yesterday I spoke with Bomac from Terence Crawford's camp, and he was on the Twitter space, and I happened to be on it as well, and he said that when it got mentioned to him that he signed the 2-fight deal with PBC, that was the rumor going around, by the way, that Terence Crawford signed a 2-fight deal with PBC. They ain't make mention of the names, but that was the rumor floating around. We asked Bomac about it, and he just kind of laughed about it, saying like, man, if y'all haven't heard it from us, it ain't true, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know what to make about it, but I have not heard the rumor about Crawford versus Thurman, at least a strong rumor. I've heard the rumors like on the internet. I haven't heard that from any of the sources. None of the journalists I talked to, none of the people at the gyms that I talked to, none of the fighters that I talked to have mentioned that as like a real possibility. Now, is that a fight we want? Absolutely. Who doesn't want to see Crawford versus Thurman right before Crawford versus Spence? It'll also make that fight bigger. It'll also make Crawford's name, buzz a little bit, but I haven't heard that rumor as far as like a strong rumor where it's like genuinely about to happen. Jake Donovan he met Rivera yesterday, said he's really a humble guy. Best man wins Saturday, Joel. Yeah, no, I saw Jake Donovan posted up a picture of Michelle Rivera, and I retweeted it, and I put Jake Donovan meets Nico Ali Walsh, but I deleted it because I was like, you know what? Some people may actually think I think that's Nico Ali Walsh, and I wasn't being sarcastic, so I deleted it. But I did that. Oh yeah, I saw that Caleb Plant working with Ismail Salas, but I don't know if that was just him working out, like one day at the gym, or he did some sparring over there, and then afterwards did some mitt work with Salas. That's not strange. When, let's say, your trainer sends you somewhere to spar, and you spar somebody, and then afterwards the other trainer does the mitt work with you. That's not strange. I'm not saying that they did mitt work, but I'm just saying that's something that could happen. I did see that. I find that interesting. There's some good sparring over there. I know he sparred Carlos Adames a bunch, so I know that for a fact. Randy Abar, I'm assuming this was from the PBC podcast. He said the televised opener features the return of Dominican prospect Elvis Rodriguez. Broadway Joel from Chicken Talk. I know you're excited to see him back in the ring. Yo, shout out to KB, man. That was said on the PBC podcast. Shout out to KB. Shout out to KB, man. He out here shouting me out, letting me know, I'm making ripples in this river. I'm making noise, man. There's some people who have no idea who I am and only listen to the PBC podcast. By the way, subscribe to that. They be putting on some good interviews. There's some people that have no idea who I am, but they heard that and they're aware. They're like, who the fuck is this Broadway Joel that's getting brought up? You know who's that Broadway Joel? The Dominican voice of boxing. The voice of Dominican boxing. My bad. The voice of Dominican boxing. That's who he is. Shout out to KB, man. I definitely gotta do something for him, man. I gotta do something. I DM'd him and said, you meeting the ops, right? You meeting with the ops. Nah, I don't get what you mean by that. Meeting with the ops. Oh, I'm assuming you talk about what's his name? About Caleb Plant? I don't know. What's your prediction for the Adorno Rivera fight? I gave my prediction last time I went live, but I'll do it again. So basically, I think Adorno's a good fighter. He's not undefeated for a reason. He's he's undefeated for a reason. He's a good fighter. I've never heard somebody reference Adorno as like a bum, as like somebody who's not worth their time. I've never heard nobody refer to him as that. But he does tend to fade in the end of fights. I think had he had a little bit more energy, he probably could have stopped Jermaine Ortiz, or he probably could have got the win against Jermaine Ortiz if he had a little bit more energy to win those rounds. So he does have the tendency to fade. And Michelle Rivera is somebody who goes well to the body. And if you're somebody who tends to fade and somebody's punching your body, you're going to fade faster. That's how you take somebody's stamina. That's how you take somebody's energy, punching them to the body. And if Michelle Rivera could keep doing that throughout the whole fight, I think Adorno starts off quick, gets hit to the body 4 or 5 times, every single round. He's getting good body shots as well as mixing it in with good headshots, and then starts to fade after the 4th and 5th round. Just little by little starts to fade. Where it's like, oh, he's tired, but not that tired. And then all of a sudden he goes from that to, oh, no, he's tired, to, oh, no, he's exhausted, to, oh, no, yeah, Michelle Rivera knocked him out. I think that's how the fight goes. Michelle Rivera when I did an interview with him, he strikes me as a guy who takes his, training and dieting real serious. I don't know if you guys remember, I had asked him, yo, you trying to make weight? And I posted up, because he posted up on Instagram, him eating a burger and fries. No, a burger and a Coke. I posted it up on the screen. I'm like, what's up? You training and you eating burgers? He got real serious with me. He was like, hey. He goes, yo, don't put that up there like that. My nutritionist was the one who gave me it. He said I was okay. He was rewarding me for my hard work. I was doing everything. Like, basically, he got somewhat, like, I don't want to say offended. Offended may be the wrong word, but for lack of a better word, he got offended that I was questioning his work ethic. I was questioning his discipline about eating a burger. And he was explaining to me, no. My trainer, my nutritionist was the one who gave me that. So he's somebody who's very, very serious. Adorno's somebody who has missed weight, 3 times? The fight is at a catch weight at 138, And when I interviewed Michelle Rivera, he goes, I wasn't the one who put in that clothes. That was their team. That was on their side. So you got somebody who's missing weight. And then you got another guy who's so serious that with that time, that I put up a burger and soda that he was eating, and he got real serious and was telling me, yo, take that down. He goes, my nutritionist gave me that. And the fact that your nutritionist has seen you be so disciplined and seen you work so hard that he feels that you deserve the reward of eating a burger and soda, that speaks volumes. At least to me it does. Yeah, man. I'm going to say, one listener to the podcast, man, it was awesome to got hear that, man. I'm assuming you meant that as a person who listens to my podcast, it was dope to hear me get a shout out on the PBC podcast. It definitely is. And I usually do listen to the PBC podcast, but as some of y'all know, I got a son on the way, man. Like, yo, that shit takes my kid not even here, and that should be taking so much of my time. I can only imagine when he is here. So it's hard for me to like really catch up on, even on certain boxing news. Luckily, I'm at the point where I could just text somebody like, yo, what's going on? And I get a direct answer. But sometimes I don't be on Twitter, like keeping up with the breaking news and shit like that, because I'm busy cleaning the house because my girl has this 9-pound baby in her belly. You know what I'm saying? Shit crazy out here, man. But but shout out to Bomac, man. Bomac, he was on Chicken Talk yesterday. And he was giving us he was talking to us like some real dope content, man. At one point, some kid from Australia called in and he said that his trainer is Jeff Horn's trainer, and that if he has any advice for him. And that dude was like, you want advice from me? You saw what we did to Jeff Horn. And your trainer was talking a lot of shit, but you saw what we did to Jeff Horn. He's talking to like a 14-year-old kid, bragging about his win over Jeff Horn. That shit was funny. But hold on, I'm gonna open up the phone lines. I'm gonna give you guys the opportunity to call in if you guys want, and and talk to me. Ask me anything y'all want. I feel like last time I went live, I was so disappointed in the fact that I couldn't pin the link to the top of the chat. Well, actually, you know what's funny? I actually could have done it, but I was so overwhelmed that. Oh no, I couldn't because I wasn't on StreamYard. I'm bugging. So yeah, I couldn't put a link up because I wasn't on StreamYard. I was streaming directly from YouTube, which I'll never do again. But that's because StreamYard was bugging out. It was saying that too much traffic was going on or something that I couldn't go live, and it really fucked up my shit. But today we good. Anybody wants to call in, just hit that link at the top of the chat. It'll take you to a website and we can have a conversation. But yeah, man. Tomorrow we also got the fight Kiko Martinez versus Josh Warrington for you guys who are interested in the featherweight division. That's a good fight that's gonna happen. I'm picking Warrington, but listen, Kiko Martinez, he pulled off an upset against Kid Galahad, and yes, although he may be older, I'm not gonna dismiss his chances, man. I'm really not. I'm really not. I'm not gonna dismiss his chances. I ain't pick him to beat Galahad, and I'm being honest. I could raise my hand and be like, "Hey, I'm being honest. I'm not. I ain't pick him." But yeah, man, fucking that's dope, man. That I got a shout out on the PBC podcast. But yo, I'm excited for tomorrow. Michelle Rivera versus. Well, let me get off the Dominicans because I've been harping on that for a minute. Obviously, y'all know I'm the voice of Dominican boxing. I'm gonna be harping on those guys a lot. But let's talk about Tim Tszyu versus Terrell Gausha. Terrell Gausha, he's had some losses he has some losses on his record, but he can crack. The guy can punch. If you guys remember in the Olympics, he actually got a stoppage in the Olympics, and the reason why that I find that impressive is because in the Olympics at that time it was with headgear and it was with 12-ounce gloves. So if you're knocking dudes out with headgear and 12-ounce gloves, imagine what you're gonna do with 10 ounces. You know what I'm saying? No headgear, and he's been doing that in the pros. Like if you remember, he even hurt Lubin. He's somebody who definitely has a puncher's chance. Tim Tszyu, the son of a legend, good reflexes, and he's favored, and he should be favored, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, he's gonna have to prove this is his first time fighting in America, and he's fighting in fucking cold ass Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does he adjust to these things? I don't know. Maybe he adjusts perfectly. Maybe he's up for that pressure. Maybe he thrives in pressure. Maybe he gets this guy out of there in one round. But guess what? I don't know how he handles pressure. How when he walks in, the crowd may be rooting for the other fighter. You know, there may be some fans in there rooting for Terrell Gausha because he's American and not you because you're Australian. I don't know. I find it very, very interesting. I'm very, very curious as to what happens. Kostya Tszyu, son versus Terrell Gausha, a former U.S. Olympian. I'm interested in that fight. Obviously, I'm more interested in the two undercard fights because they're Dominican, especially that Adorno-Michelle Rivera fight. I feel like if you put a lie detector test on people, especially the hardcores, what's the fight you most looking forward to this Saturday? Of course, you want to see Tim Tszyu, who's a potential opponent for the winner of Castaño Charlo. Of course, you want to see that fight. You want to see how he looks. But I think the more competitive fight, the fight that has the hardcores more excited, is definitely that Joseph Adorno Michelle Rivera fight. Because that people looking at that as an easy 50-50 fight. I mean, people looking at it as a 50-50 fight. There's people who I know who are knowledgeable boxing fans who are leaning Adorno. Look, Derek is leaning towards Adorno. He's in the chat. And he's a knowledgeable boxing fan. There's fans that are picking Michelle Rivera. I'm picking Michelle Rivera, not because I'm biased, not because he gave me an interview. I just genuinely believe that. But guess what? Tomorrow, time will tell. Time will tell. By the way, anybody know about the weigh-ins? What time the weigh-ins are? I doubt they televise it though. It's such a small fight, but I would love to. I would love to see it. Good afternoon, KO Boxing Breaking News. Shout out to you, my brother. Favorite fight on the upcoming schedule? Definitely, I'll give you a favorite card. My favorite card is that Charlo Castaño undisputed match with the undercard is Jerome Jaron Ennis versus Castillo Clayton. So that's 2 undefeated welterweights for the IBF title. So I'm interested in that. That's the fight that I'm most interested in this upcoming schedule. It's undisputed in the four. It's the 154-pound division has never been undisputed in the 4-belt era. So this has a chance of happen. This has a chance to be history. By the way, y'all saying at 1 p.m., at 2 p.m., y'all like, come on, man. Like, y'all in different time zones, man. Oh, Eastern time. All right, Eastern time. 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not going to be live at 2 p.m. So, unfortunately, I won't be able to give y'all guys the breakdown and talk about it and shit like that. But, yeah. Getting back to what I was saying, oh, yeah. What was I saying? I was talking about the... Oh, hold on. Come on live tomorrow. Roberto Duran Jr. will be live for an interview. Okay. Yeah, let me know what time. Eastern time. I'll pop. Oh, 5:30 Eastern time. All right. I'll pull up. I'll watch for sure. KO Boxing breaking news. But yeah, anybody want to call in, ask me anything, or be a part of the conversation, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. All you got to do is click the link and it'll take you to a website and we could have a boxing conversation. But yeah, man. Let's see if there's any breaking news. Yo man, I'm surprised you guys don't want to talk about that Gervonta Davis whole situation. When he's talking about his contract is up. That's big news to me, man. That's big news to me. If Tank Davis were to leave Mayweather Promotions, that would be one of the best. Well, let me not say that would be one of the biggest stories in boxing. But you know what it is? I think it's just not big enough news because most people don't believe it. Again, look, Gervonta Davis, my contract is up. That's why Mayweather Promotions wants me to fight Clown Romero. So, okay, listen. This is a fan who responded to Gervonta Davis, and then Gervonta Davis responded back. So, user Mark P 2020 wrote, "Okay, Gervonta, I've given you a lot of shit about Mayweather Promotions keeping you in-house. Seems like you're starting to see it. Don't let them ruin what could be a fantastic career if you took some chances. You have talent, show it." Gervonta Davis wrote, "My contract is up. That's why they want me to fight this clown so bad." You know, Romero is also promoted by Mayweather Promotions. By the way, this article was written by Manuk Akopayan. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but hey. Then again, he put that shit up again. Did they quote in the I had put up that tweet when he said they put tickets on sale 1 month before, like I'm fucking Michael Jackson or something. Yo, he's not happy how he's being promoted at Mayweather Promotions. He's not. And part of it has to do that every time you stick a mic in Leonard Ellaby's face and people asking him about Tank's legacy, which seems to matter to him, Leonard Ellaby goes, "You can't feed your kids with legacy. You know, it's all about the money and this and that. And to maybe it's all about the money to you, but what does your fighter want? Does your fighter want to fight Lomachenko? Does your fighter want to fight Devin Haney? Does your fighter want to fight Tio and Shakur? Does he want to fight these guys? I don't know. I'm asking. Does he want to fight these guys? Yes. Okay. Well, it's in a promoter's best interest to keep his fighters happy and try to work around the boxing politics. Obviously, everything is handled on a case-by-case basis. A lot of these fighters are with different networks, like Tio's with ESPN, Loma's with ESPN. ESPN is not just going to send Tio and Loma to Showtime and have them do a pay-per-view. They're not going to do that. Gervonta Davis is not going to send... Mayweather Promotions is not going to send Gervonta Davis to ESPN to do a pay-per-view. It's just not going to happen. And you ask, oh, why don't they do a joint pay-per-view? Joint pay-per-views are reserved for major events. Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. Major events where it's like, whoa, that fight is gonna sell. Okay, heavyweight championship fights. The fight of the century, Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Okay, we'll work together as two separate networks. But that neither of the fights I mentioned, the potential fights I mentioned for Tank, are that kind of caliber where two networks would be willing to work with each other. There won't be enough juice worth the squeeze. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for us fans to understand it, but everything should be handled on a case-by-case basis. And again, boxing is not a sport, it's a business. And at the end of the day, these promoters, the people who putting up the money, because whoever the boss is whoever's putting up the money. Whoever is going to lose money if the pay-per-view / event doesn't sell tickets. If you don't sell pay-per-views and you don't sell tickets, the guy who's going to take the biggest loss is the one putting up the money. So it has to be in his best interest, the guy who's putting it up, because he's putting up all the risk. And if sending your guy to another network is not worth what you're going to do for business, us fans, we have to identify that. We have to identify the fact that, okay, that fighter can't fight this fighter because of the networks. Now, we can complain about it and we could drum up a buzz about it and possibly get it. Look, Tank might leave Mayweather Promotions because we've bitched and moaned about him not fighting enough tough competition, especially him being in his late 20s. A lot of people don't know Tank is 27. People think of Tank like, oh, he's 23, 24. No, he's 27 years old, man. He's a grown man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he has his days in his prime are numbered, but my point is, usually that's about the time where you're in your peak prime years. And he's not fighting the level of competition us fans want, But again, I don't know what he's gonna do with his career. If I'm taking what he said I'm taking it serious. Let's say he meant what he said. This is his last fight on his deal, and he's maybe, being down to leave. Let's see. If he's down to leave, I'm curious as to where he's gonna go. Who's gonna offer him the right 2-fight deal for him to go somewhere? And where do you hold on? Let me ask the chat. Out of these options, which one entice you more? And let's say the money's the same for all of them. Because some people will go, hey, it may be better to go this route because there's more money. Even though we know certain fights are more valuable than others, if you're Tank, which 2-fight deal is presented to you? A combination of these 3 fighters from Top Rank. Lomachenko, Shakur, Tio. Whatever your preference is. If you want to see Tio and Loma, then we'll do that combination. If you want to see Shakur and Tio, then we'll do that combination. If you want to see Shakur and Lomachenko, we'll do that combination. So which deal are you going to accept? That Top Rank deal, whether it's one of those 3, 2-fight deal, Lomachenko, Shakur, Tio. Are you taking the zone deal, Devin, Haney, and Ryan Garcia? Or are you taking the PBC deal in Isaac Cruz and Michelle Rivera? Which 3-fight deal you taking? Comment that in the comment section or call in. There you go. Again, I'm gonna run through it again, and then I'm gonna give you. I want you guys to answer in the chat or call in. Top Rank is gonna offer either Lomachenko, Shakur, Tio. The Zone is gonna offer Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, and PBC is gonna offer Michelle Rivera and Isaac Cruz. Let me know in the comment section which route you wanted him to go, or you could call in. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Because out of those, I want Devin and Ryan. I don't give a fuck what order I get him to. You know what I'm saying? But no, let me not say that. I probably do want him to fight Devin first, only because I still feel like Ryan needs a couple more fights on his belt before he goes thrown in against a fight against Tank. And so yeah, I think Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney are the best deal for Tank. Tank is a good fighter, man. Tank is a good fighter. And he has a lot of options in at 135 or in the 140 division. He has a lot of options. At 140, if he wants to go the 140 route, and I doubt it because he seems to be more comfortable at 135. If he wants to be a player at 140. All the young guys are with PBC. Look, the young guys are PBC are at 140. I'm saying are Richardson Hitchens, Brandon Lee, Elvis Rodriguez, uh, Subriel Matias. Well, what's this guy's name? Gary Antoine Russell. Those are all young guys at 140 that he can mix it up with in the future. You know, as far as top rank, they got 140s too. They got Zepeda, they got Ramirez, they got Josh Taylor, they got Barboza, they got Tio who's moving up to 140. So that's how 140 shakes out. The zone, they got Montana Love, and Montana Love and Gervonta Davis actually have history. Gervonta Davis put out a sparring session with him and Tank, and Montana Love was upset that he feels that Tank only put out the points where he was looking good, where he was landing punches. And he was like, why don't you put out the full tape? Why don't you pull out the full tape if that's the case? You know what I'm saying? So there's some history there. But that's really the only player the zone has at 140. And at 135, the zone has Ryan Garcia, has Devin Haney, has William Zepeda, has who else they have at 135? That's pretty much it. And that's pretty much how it shakes out for all three. But I don't think Gervonta Davis ruins that long-term relationship, especially with Al Heyman. Al Heyman is the one paying the most money. Al Heyman is the one with the best roster. Maybe not at 135. He doesn't have the best roster at 135, but he definitely has the best roster overall. And then when you look at the potential of, Gervonta Davis moving up, shit, Alberto Puello is also at 140, by the way, undefeated Dominican. I'm the voice of Dominican boxing. I had to bring him up. And he's in line for a title shot. He's the mandatory for the WBA. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not bringing up an irrelevant guy just because he's Dominican. But my point is, there's a lot of options on the PBC side at 140. So Tank has to tread lightly because he may be able to get Devin, maybe to be able to get Ryan, William Zepeda, Montana Love, and then after he beats those guys, where does he go? He might want to go back to PBC, and he may have ruined that relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how this shakes out. I don't know if Gervonta was just trolling. He could just be throwing us on for a loop, having me talk about him on my live. Put it like this. Had he not tweeted those tweets, his live wouldn't have been about Tank. It would have been about fucking the fights tomorrow. It would have been about Michelle Rivera and Elvis Rodriguez and Tim Tszyu. That's what it would have been about because that's what's relevant. That's who's fighting tomorrow. Of course. You know what I'm saying? But Gervonta Davis, he's making news with those tweets. Now, we have seen Gervonta Davis get mad at Mayweather before, if we're being honest. I remember Mayweather was trying to make that Lomachenko fight back in like 2017, around that time, and Tank got mad at him. Tank ain't want to talk to Mayweather. that was a bad look on Tank, man. Your promoters talk about making a fight with you and another champion, and you get mad at him and unfollow him on Twitter and don't want to shake his hand. That was a bad look. I agree he wasn't ready, but I'm just saying, as a fighter, that's a bad look. That's a bad look. But my point is, I say all that to say this. We've seen Gervonta Davis mad at Mayweather before and them come back to being, that big brother, little brother relationship, which honestly, I think is what's happening. I think that's his big brother. He's mad at him and he's going to tweet some shit out because, that's what this generation do. They don't pick up a phone and talk to you. They just throw these cryptic tweets. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you see it and then you call him about it and then y'all can talk about it. So I don't know if that's what's happening or if he's just trolling us and wanted to make a whole big fuss of it to get his name in the news. I don't know. Yo, by the way, if y'all hear some banging, they doing construction downstairs, the apartment. And yeah, so if y'all hear some banging, just know it's coming from my end, but they're doing construction downstairs. But yeah, man, By the way, I'm so annoyed with this Camboso's Tio, you hear me? Camboso's Haney situation. Why they haven't fought is beyond me. It's crazy. It's crazy. Titanium says he's leaving Floyd, not Heyman. I see now that I can see. You imagine if what's his name? Tank starts his own promotional company, Tank Promotions, or you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. That wouldn't surprise me. That would be what the big dogs do. Look, that's what Canelo did. Although Canelo not really moving and shaking with his promotional company, but he still has a promotional company, Canelo Promotions. Oscar De La Hoya started Golden Boy. Mayweather started Mayweather Promotions. You know, we've seen big dogs who are draws leave their promoters who are big time promoters. In the case of uh, uh, De La Hoya and Floyd, they both left Top Rank. We've seen guys leave big promoters and start their own promotional companies and become successful. So I wouldn't doubt that he stays with Heyman, leaves Floyd, opens up his own promotional company, and goes that route. The only thing I will say is I don't see Tank as the person, organizing events and doing this and doing that. Maybe he hires somebody. They fucking hammering right under me. Maybe he hires somebody to handle all that situation for him, but I don't know who's in and around him. Anytime I see him around, it's somebody who's in the TMT camp or Floyd or Leonard. So it's like I know none of those guys are going to be handling the promotional things for you. A lot of people think being a promoter is just putting on the event. It's also finding international rights you're going to sell to in England and in Russia and in Germany and in Latin America. Who's going to own those rights? How much should you sell your rights for? You know what I'm saying? Then there's pay-per-views in certain countries. Like, is there pay-per-view in Canada? Then that's different currency. So there's a lot that goes into negotiating a pay-per-view event. Lot to go in, contacting arenas, of knowing when to hold, knowing when to book a fight, and how to set up a weigh-in. This is a lot of little things that people don't take into account when you want to become a promoter. So if Tank wants to become a promoter, I hope he has his affairs in line. He has somebody on deck already willing to do all that shit. Javante Davis is still with Heyman. Yeah, I know. I was just saying that. That if he was to start his own promotional company, he could still stay with Heyman, kind of like how Floyd Mayweather started his own promotional company and still stood with Heyman. Shout out to Heyman, man. Heyman be taking care of his fighters. That's one thing you can't say about Al. I really never heard of a fighter complain about Al Heyman with the money. He's a scam artist. I've never heard that. So shout out to Al Heyman for that. And so if Tank starts a promotional deal and Al Heyman goes, yo, don't worry about all that setting up everything. I got it. Then shit. I get it. You cut out the middleman in Mayweather. Mayweather at that point becomes the middleman. You could say, yo, no, shout out to Mayweather. I just wanted to start my own promotional company. Shit. That would be interesting. Maybe he wants control of his own destiny. That it happens. It happens in boxing. It really, really doesn't. It happens. All right. But yo, what do y'all think of? So Don King came out. Don King came out saying that Canelo shouldn't fight this guy Bivol because he's a Russian citizen. Come on, man. I don't get why Don King would comment on that. I actually don't. I actually think it's okay to fight Bivol. Bivol is not the one invading Ukraine. I don't understand why he felt he was okay. It was okay for him to say that. I really don't. That would be very smart if Tank did that. Yeah, if Tank opened up his own promotional company, and again, Al Heyman said, "Yo, don't worry about the logistics and international rights and setting up the weigh-in and getting Tecate to sponsor. I'ma handle all of that." If that's the case, then yeah, it would be smart for Tank to open up his own promotional company because all he has to do is just put up his banners, hire somebody to put up the banners. That's it, and Al Heyman's taking care of everything else. I'm not saying that is what is going to go on. I'm not reporting it as news. I'm saying if he was to go that route. Don King outbidded Frank Warren in 2022. What the fuck? Yo, a lot of people don't know how rich Don King is. Don King is loaded. Come on, man. He was robbing Mike Tyson. He was robbing all these fighters back in the day. Don King got money, man. Trust me. He promoted Ali. He promoted Tyson. He promoted Julio Cesar Chavez, Felix Trinidad. Who else he promoted? I think he promoted Evander Holyfield for those Lennox Lewis fights. Roberto Duran he promoted. Listen, Don King got money. Don King ain't never gonna die broke. So now him outbidding Frank Warren may have been Frank Warren being cheap, or may have been Frank Warren not being aware of how much money Don King has. But trust me, Don King has over $100 million in his bank account. I can guarantee that. He got money. Trevor Bryant versus Daniel Dubois, and then he puts the emojis like he about to throw up. I don't know how Trevor Bryant is put in the position where the WBA is making him fight. Well, is that for like a regular belt, right? Or an eliminator? I don't get how Trevor Bryant got there. Daniel Dubois, I like Daniel Dubois. I was really high on him before. He didn't pan out the way I thought he would. I thought he was going to be a much more successful fighter. I picked him to beat Joyce, and then he got his eye socket broken and quit. I don't want to say quit. I'm not, when I'm saying quit, I'm not saying it in a negative fashion, man. He got his face broken in, and he didn't want to continue fighting. I was very disappointed in Daniel Dubois. Again, I was really high on Daniel Dubois, but hey, yeah, I knew it was for a regular belt. It's for a regular belt. The WBA, and I'm not going to trash the WBA too much because they're giving Dominicans opportunities. But damn, man, y'all said y'all was going to get rid of these interim belts and these regular belts, and these shit seem to be still lingering, man. Like, what's up? What are we doing, man? You can't mandate the winner of this fight against Tyson Fury to get rid of that belt. Just make it one belt per weight class, man. That's what the fans want. There's a fucking purse bid. Listen, this is what happens when you involve regular belts. There's a purse bid involving Don King, man. Don King should not be involved in purse bids right now. You know what I'm saying? His roster of fighters, I like. Who are they? Watch fucking Trevor Bryant become a heavyweight champion after I said all this. Don King be back in the mix. Yo, it's crazy how Don King just pretty much just got blackballed out of boxing. I don't want to say blackballed, but his reputation was so bad that no fighters wanted to sign with him. No network wanted to give him dates. It was actually pretty crazy how that happened. He went from being at the top of the sport. I think Bob Arum has had a better promoter career, but I think Don King hit higher heights. Don King had Roberto Duran, Julio Cesar Chavez, Tito Trinidad, and Mike Tyson. And you could say Bob Arum had Ali and Sugar Ray and all these guys, but Ali also at one point was promoted by Don King. You know what I'm saying? So they both have that mutual part in their legacy. But again, Bob Arum's longevity is what makes him better than Don King. But they're both Hall of Famers, though. They definitely both Hall of Famers. Don King used to put on the best undercards. His undercards used to be stacked. Let me find some undercards to show y'all. Let me find y'all, because he used to stay putting Julio Cesar Chavez and Mike Tyson on the same card. Believe that shit? You imagine buying a ticket for that? You getting your money's worth. You're gonna see a crazy knockout, and you're gonna see a brawl in Julio Cesar Chavez. By the way, I'm talking about Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. I thought I mentioned that. Not Junior. Yeah, man. Yo, by the way, Chavez Sr., man, if you bored, man, just watch some of his fights, man. That dude was a warrior. A warrior. Let's see. But yeah, if you guys wanna call in, hit that link at the top of the chat. By the way, I, you know what? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna contact Samson Lukowitz tonight. I'm gonna contact him, and I want to see if he wants to come on the show, man. Because we've had communications before. Shout out to Samson Lukowitz. He's a great guy, and he has a lot of Dominican fighters. So I definitely want to see if I get him on the show and interview him and ask, because he got a lot of relevant fighters, and I want to ask him about how he has that eye for talent in the international game, like how because a lot of people don't know Samson Lukowitz discovered Sergio Martinez and Manny Pacquiao. So you see what I'm saying? Like he discovered two legit champions, and Manny Pacquiao, no time great, and Sergio Martinez. I'm not gonna call him a Hall of Famer, but man, I feel like had he got opportunities, had he developed quicker at a younger age, he would have been. He had that big knockout against Paul Williams. He beat Kelly Pavlik. He beat a couple tough guys at his weight class. I wouldn't consider him a Hall of Famer, but he definitely was a very, very talented fighter. He beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. back when that actually meant something. So I would love to get Samson Lukowitz on this program. I really would. Know what I'm saying? Only thing is, I hate when he translates, man, because he be on some shit when he be translating. Hold on one second. All right, I'm just gonna show you this one undercard, this one card right here, and y'all tell me, Oh nah, wait, let me show y'all a better card because this card is fire, the one I was about to show y'all, but I want to show y'all one even better. I want to show y'all one even better. Because Don King was the fucking man back in the days, man. Was the man. Then they got. Hold on. Let me show y'all. Let me show you this. Let me show y'all this real quick. Look at this undercard Don King put on back in the day. So he had Terry Norris facing Julian Jackson right here. You imagine? And then on the undercard is Julio Cesar Chavez in a tune-up fight. Because Julio Cesar Chavez used to fight like 10 times in a year. So that's why a lot of times you see him, he fought somebody who's 18-1. Look, he fought a guy who's 0-1. 0-1 in Mexico. Because he used to like to stay active. He was one of the last old school fighters. The guy had over 100 fights. Like over 100 fights. I know it sounds like a lot, but yes, that's how fucking much he fought. He fought every single time. Very, very often, I mean. But yo, talk to me, guys. Talk to me in the chat. What y'all want to talk about? Y'all know me. I want to talk about tomorrow's fights, man. I was trying to set something up with my boys where we could watch it all together, have flags and all that. But what happened was a lot of my boys like, damn, you telling me last minute I can't make it. I wanted to make a whole like, well, all us Dominicans, we watching the fight, supporting with our flags and shit, but not a lot of people can make it. So it's probably not going to happen, but I'm definitely going to watch the fight. I'm trying to watch the fight with my pops. My pops, big boxing fan, especially obviously these two Dominicans fighting. So I definitely want to watch that. And Julian Jackson was cold. That's who Michelle Rivera looks like. So you saying he should be not Ali? It should be Salsa Jackson, not Salsa Ali. Nah, for real, yo, Julian Jackson. That's the hardest puncher pound for pound for me all time. Julian Jackson, his highlight reel of knockouts, it's unmatched. It's unmatched. He puts motherfuckers in the dirt, man. That dude was nice. And what sucks is his son came and started a box. I believe he has two sons who box, and one of them fought Andy Lee, and he was landing some hard shots at Andy Lee, and then Andy Lee just knocked him out cold with a right hand. So it's very, it was a full circle. His father used to be knocking dudes out. Now his son getting knocked out. But that's what happens in the sport of boxing, man. Anybody could be knocked out. Especially, man, Andy Lee, man, he's somebody who a lot of people would talk about as, he's going to be a potential this, potential that, because Emmanuel Stewart used to work the HBO days, and he used to always talk about how in the Kronk gym, he has Andy Lee and this and that, and Andy Lee never really became what Emmanuel Stewart said he was going to become. Now he's become a trainer. He's working with Tyson Fury, and I'm sure he's working with a couple dudes in the UK. But he never really became anything in the ring for whatever reason. Bro, wait, that was his son in that highlight. I remember that knockout. Yeah, that was his son. He fucking came. He was putting it on Andy Lee. And Andy Lee just came with a right hook and went, bang, and then just knocked him out cold. It looked like he was whooping dude, and then all of a sudden got knocked out. Yeah, man, that's why a lot of times fighters who just are a fan of boxing, they look on TV and hey, I want to fight like Chavez, I want to fight like Pacquiao, and just come in and swing and this and that. And what they don't realize is when you're going forward to a guy and you're chasing him and you're running fast and you running forward and his punch coming forward at the same time, you're only increasing the power you're getting hit with. You understand what I'm saying? That's why rushing in is very dangerous. If you're rushing in and somebody's, throwing their overhand right as you're coming in, this is your head. As you're coming in, he's throwing his fist, your head lands to his fist. It's almost like you punching yourself. So that's why a lot of times you have to set up the punches. Somebody throws a jab, you got to slip, maybe throw an uppercut. Throw a jab, maybe you throw a pull counter. You know what I'm saying? You don't just rush in. You have to place your shot. You have to constantly think about where you're placing your shots. And in that case with Julian Jackson's son, he was landing hard shots. He was, beating Andy Lee, but he got too aggressive. He came in rushing in. And again, when you rush in, you're only increasing the amount of power you're going to get hit with. The only time I really would say it's okay to rush in is when you have somebody seriously hurt and you're trying to go in for the kill. And even then, you got to be careful because, a lot of times when motherfuckers are hurt, that's when people become dangerous. Look at Gotti. Gotti used to get hurt and then boom, drop dudes or hurt dudes, and that's when he would start brawling, when he would get hurt. So that's something people have to watch out for. That's how Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez. Walked right into it. Absolutely. I remember that. I don't know much about Dominican fighters. That's why I'm watching your channel, and you're handling the stuff on the East Coast. So to clarify with you, tomorrow's Dominican fighters. I don't understand the last part. So to clarify with you, tomorrow's Dominican fighters. Yeah, tomorrow, 2 Dominican fighters. Michelle Rivera is fighting Joseph Adorno, and then Elvis Rodriguez, he's fighting Juan Jose Velasco. I'm not sure what was your question with that one. Facts, bro. Look at the Valdez-Burchelt knockout. That's a perfect example. Even though Valdez was winning, Burchelt ran into that punch. Yeah, man. No, but the perfect example is what Jay said. That Pacquiao knockout. Pacquiao had, if you guys remember, I think he broke Marquez's nose at that fight, at that round. And Pacquiao was going in for the kill, and he was going in for the kill. He had Marquez hurt, and he kind of rushed in, and Pacquiao just perfectly timed it. Boom, and knocked him out. And that's what I mean by, you have to think about where you're placing your shots. You can't just go in there and go, all right, I'm just going to go off instincts and throw a jab and throw a right hand because that's what I learned in the gym. No, that's not how boxing works. Boxing work is by you setting up your punches, you setting up your knockout. A lot of times is you'll look at somebody's body and hit him to the head, or you'll look at somebody's head and hit him to the body, or you'll have your hands down and because you're waiting for him to time him, and as soon as he rushes in, you back up and maybe land your shots because You know what I'm saying? So you constantly, when you're in the ring, you have to constantly be studying your opponent, seeing every time you rush in, he tends to, you know, cover his chin like this. But all right, when he's covering his chin, he's covering his body real well, but he's leaving his head open. Or maybe he raises his hands up, or maybe he leaves his right hand low. You have to study these patterns, and somebody who's really good at that is Canelo Alvarez. So what's happened with Canelo Alvarez in the first 4 or 5 rounds against Billy Joe Saunders, Billy Joe kept leaning over to that side, and the time Canelo was throwing the right hand. So Canelo's adjustment was fake like you throw in the right hand as far as straight, and just kind of come. It was kind of like it was kind of like one of those, those Taekwondo punches where it's kind of like that. He kind of like threw it like that and landed perfectly on his eye socket and broke that shit. So, and all that happened because he was studying how every time Canelo would charge in to throw a right hand, Billy Joe Saunders, who's a southpaw, would bend over this side, and it would make it hard to land the right hand. So he's like, okay, I'll just land this uppercut. And he went, boom, and broke his face. All that comes from studying his opponent. Another person who's good at studying their opponent is Terence Crawford. That's why he's knocked out his last 10 opponents. People asking, does Crawford punch that hard? Which I'm sure he does. Yeah, he does punch hard. But I think more of his knockouts have less to do with his power and more to do with his boxing IQ. That's why a lot of times people go, Crawford's a slow starter. Crawford's a slow starter. Yeah, he's a slow starter, but what you don't realize is that as he's getting hit, as he's losing the first 3-4 rounds, he's getting used to your rhythm. He's getting used to what you like to do. And then he adjusts. All right, he likes to throw his left hand. He likes to move to the left after the jab. He likes to do this. He likes to do that. I'm going to box this way. And then boom. You understand what I'm saying? That Canelo uppercut on Billy Joe looked like the same punch Charlo did to Lubin. Man, I don't know. What Charlo did to Lubin was pretty crazy, man. He knocked that dude out cold. But all right, guys, today was a short one. I'm about to hop off, but I appreciate you guys. I definitely will be contacting a few people today about setting up an interview. One of them is Sanson Lukowitz. A couple other guys who I have no relationship with, but I will be reaching out to people who we have mutual friends for. So I like bringing you guys interviews. That's when I'm most excited, when I could bring you guys interviews and I could brag about how I'm making a dent in this boxing YouTube, in this YouTube boxing community. All right, guys, until next time, peace.